Ethan came to me at the start of his 4-year-old school year, and he came to me in September. Our main focus was that we could transition Ethan to a completely different setting, not even in this building, but at another school. And in order for him to be successful in that, we knew we had to put in a lot of strategies for him.
What's your name?
He had just moved here from Garrett County, and he had a lot of transition issues, a lot of social problems in the classroom. And we started out very small with Ethan, and we worked from just staying in an assigned area to fully participating in the class. Our main goal was for him to be a successful member of the classroom and to be a valued member with his peers. He had a preferred seat in the classroom. He would sit in a chair. It was right next to the group, but it was kind of in his own space, and that allowed him to feel comfortable enough to participate with the rest of the kids. And he had the option, he could come sit with the group or he could stay in his chair. And by the end of the year, he was able to self-regulate enough that if he felt comfortable enough, he would come to the carpet with us. Or if he needed that break time, he would go back to his chair, and he kind of self-monitored himself. We did a lot with the potty training in the classroom. He went from not even letting us know when he needed to go to completely asking for help and going there on his own and doing everything independently. And our bathroom's located across the hall, so he actually even left our classroom and went across the hall and came back independently. So that was a huge milestone for him, and he took a lot of pride in that at the end of the year.
Hey, I wanted to ask you something. How's it going with the potty?
Good.
Good? Yeah?
In the passes, I help you to go to the bathroom.
Oh, so you
There's
get
a blue boy pass and a red girl pass.
Okay, which one do you take? The girls' pass or the boys' pass?
The boys pass.
Oh, that's what I thought. And does somebody help you? Or do you do it all by yourself?
I do it all. I do it all by myself.
High five. After you go potty, what do you do?
Flush.
Okay, yeah. Then what?
Wash my hands.
Awesome. I hoped you were going to say that. Then what do you do?
Wipe, clean them. Wipe them.
Wipe them dry. And then what do you do?
Get out of the bathroom.
Get out of the
Put
bathroom.
bath.
And come back?
So kind of fast forward to next year, so off they go, because they both are going to Westside.
They both are going.
Okay. Fast forward to that. What are the things that you'll do to kind of make sure that everything that you've talked about actually ends up happening?
I'm guessing that we'll just I'll have to communicate with the teachers there, and I think for me, and that's something we've always lacked in the past, that after communication stuff.
The purpose of the flowchart that we have is helping students move from one school to the next, as well as focusing on helping those teachers and administrators understand how we're going to move those students.
We used the flow chart 2 times a year. We looked at where Ethan was progressing, and we used the work sampling system. It's a kind of like a checklist, and we looked at the data there and how many areas he needed to improve on and where we wanted to. So we took that data in January and we looked at it and we thought ahead and where do we want Ethan to be when school ends in June. So we kind of took that data and we focused on some pinpoints of where we wanted him to be.
We're concentrating on those students who are noted as high flyers or have a lot of need and just aren't clicking well into the environment that they're in. Teachers that are working with them already put strategies in place. They're gathering that information, and that way they can see if that strategy is being effective for that student. We did it through our supervisor, Debbie Matheny, who had myself and another coworker present at a principal's meeting. And we did a full presentation on what the flowchart was at the principal's meeting and gave them the opportunity to comment and add their recommendations or insight as to what would make it better for them. I think it's put a basis of communication in place, specifically to help with the administrative process. Administrators feel and have ownership with the flow chart, as well as understand that there's a process in place. And for them, it makes it easier. Because of that, it makes it easier for staff to understand what next steps are and help that be embedded naturally. All right, our flow chart focuses throughout the year. For example, when a student comes back in August, September, we are just in the getting to know you phase. The new teacher is receiving those students and they're focusing on just letting them get into the routine of that school. At that time, once the student gets settled, probably about September, late September, October, we're concentrating on maybe the teacher of that receiving school can work with the teacher from the previous school and know if there's any strategies that are needed to help make the transition into the new setting better. We're getting now into January, February has passed. We're collecting a lot of work samples in the process of September on, once the child's settled, to prepare for the next phase of moving into the next fall. And into the spring where we are now, we're concentrating on getting that information in place, meeting with other schools, and helping staff understand what's needed for that child when they're coming to that new school.
And so we just followed through with the chart, and then in early May, we met as a team, and we looked back and compared the data that we had collected in January with the data we had in the spring. And we kind of decided then that we believed that Ethan had made enough progress that we would go ahead and transition him back to his home school. I have only received one phone call, and that was to just let me know that Ethan had transitioned into his classroom at Westside, and his teacher was just looking at some of the strategies that we had used here with Ethan, and if kind of the situation over there, and we kind of worked through, were some of those strategies going to be used there, or was that not necessary at the time? And it was a good conversation because the teacher was really receptive of what we had done here for Ethan and what she was going to continue to do for Ethan. So it was really good because it was the first time I had received a phone call that wasn't in panics and wanting to know what I had done over here. So it was a good moment.
I am. What's that?
We think that this will be a good structure and process that'll stay in place and that will be ongoing year to year.
You know what? This has been an amazing interview. We interviewed you. I need you to shake your hand and say, Ethan, I'm going to do this hand, okay? Let's cross like this. Ethan, it's been amazing talking to you today. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome.